Hey, this is my story, my peaceful, monotonous life, which has recently turned into a constant battlefield. Peer pressure, and last but not least, dramatics. As much as it seems fun, it's not actually while dealing with it. In my family, only Dad, Joseph, 40 male, has raised me single-handedly for the past few years when Mom left us for her illicit affairs. And the cause was that Dad was overly ambitious and Mom was like she was in peace with her life and hardly had any high goals or expectations, but only just accept that she never wanted kids and always felt pressured while being a mother to me. It was Father who mostly took care of me, hence I was drawn close to him. She hated when Dad stole the time from her for his career, his dreams, and then that hatred diverted to me because, now her remaining time was taken by me. She only had me because Dad wanted it. The difference rose between them, and eventually, when I came to high school, their paths were separated. Because this competitiveness was not inherited in me by my father, he tried to make me like him by passing on his values to me. And somewhere I always found him comparing with his sibling, which is his sister Maria, and her family, etc. Her husband Martin, he's a senior doctor and the main character of my story. The reason behind this is my dearest cousin Mia. She was the center of attention at every family gathering because in our grandparents' words, she was the prodigy of our lineage to carry his legacy forward. Since Grandpa himself belonged to an influential socialite class, he expects the same from Mia. See, Mia excelled in every field you name it. She had it all. Sports, academics, science, creative arts, ballet, painting. She was the pride of her parents, or I should say the ego. My aunt, who loved to show off her achievements in front of me. But somewhere her parents, including her grandparents, were also so blinded by her achievements that they forgot to focus on her basic human values. As a result, they raised a complete brat. I always felt like she was just an attention seeker and terrible at handling failures because that would be straight hurting her giant ego, which has led to her overly competitive nature. And it would not be an exaggeration to say that she was a complete narcissist. She craves attention and goes to great lengths to get it, even if it makes things dirty or unfair. But instead of telling you this, you're free to judge that yourself by the end of the story. While my sister is currently enjoying her attention to making a toast on my grandmother's anniversary, I was sitting in the corner stuffing my face with cookies and pastries. Because one thing I've inherited from my father is his infertility complex. And I have a big one, which is that I'm big. In fact, I feel huge for my age. I'm a 17-year-old teenager who is unsuccessfully struggling with her never-ending journey of weight loss. I weigh over 200 pounds more than my actual weight. My inferiority complex was pretty much evident to everyone. And Mia seemed to enjoy that a lot when she suddenly brought my name on stage. Mia, who was so polite and sweet with me, it was evident, though, through her backhanded compliments and fake body positivity, she takes pleasure in seeing me get embarrassed about myself. Mia, who, by the way, has seen as a humble and friendly with me by everybody, failed to understand the reason behind the acts of niceness. I expect her to ignore me, but she does the opposite instead. Even Dad believes in her amiable nature, thinking of her as an ideal daughter a parent could have, but I have no evidence to prove otherwise. Also, it wasn't like she was friendly with the rest of her cousins. Obviously she's not, but she's been especially nice with me. Even though I had nothing in common with her, I was not happy, but at least I did not feel embarrassed by what she made me feel. She came to me to hold my hand and come on stage, but thankfully her phone rang, and regretting losing her enjoyment, she had to attend her important event and was gone. It must have been her boyfriend, Max. Meanwhile, I myself excused it from using the restroom. It's so ironic that people like her, who have a perfect physique, comment on others who lack it, and Mia, being a narcissist, she could not resist an opportunity to do the same with me. When I came back, the dinner had already started, and everybody started filling their plates. I found my dad upset and said that I had disappointed him as usual, And being reserved makes everybody feel like he has not taught me how to socialize and not be rude by refusing to interact at such events. And he went to chat with his other relatives. Mia, who had eavesdropped on the conversation, gave her fake consolation and comments on my meal and the serving size. She said that she would rather starve herself than eat so many calories, and gave me a backhanded compliment of my self-love. I forgot to tell you that Mia is always on a diet and goes to the gym. She's been contesting beauty pageants, and she's won a few of them, which has boosted her ego and confidence and her personality and popularity along with it. Well, at least this one thing suits her the most. When I reached home, my phone notification did not stop ringing. I saw my WhatsApp group messages with so many emojis and messages back to back. I realized that the results were out. I was nervous that I'd finished another packet of cookies because of anxiety. When results were displayed, I was shattered to see that I had failed again in physical education, whereas my overall grades were just fine. But it was compulsory for us to score in one of the sports of a physical activity: swimming, volleyball, basketball, soccer, or running. The last one was the simplest of all, so I opted for that one, and yet I could not score enough. I failed 5 times in a row, and if I did not clear my finals, which were about to be held in 6 months, with a high score to compensate for my entire year of failing, I would have to repeat an entire year. That means I have to score almost full marks at my finals. Dad was quite angry and threw all the cookies, sweets, and ice cream in the garbage, and I was not allowed to consume sugar in anything as a punishment. He did not even leave jam, as well. Things were going to be difficult, and I'm already losing my hopes and determination of passing my exam and losing weight during the process. Anyways, I'll update soon. Top comments from the original post. Comment number 1. OP, we could completely understand. Body issues are something most people have gone through, and it's affected us deeply in several ways. OP, we want you to socialize and not be dependent on your weight for confidence. And people around you always judge, just like your sister, but you should just focus on yourself. Maybe someday even your dad would understand that as well, and your sister is pure evil. She might think of you as her threat. That is why she's so insecure that she wants to remain unconfident. Comment number 2. OP, stop making everything about your weight. We do understand that you have body image issues, but you should have let yourself feel like that, otherwise people would try to take advantage of you. You're more than just fat, so carry yourself better and raise your chin up. Confidence has nothing to do with your weight. And it's all psychological. Your sister is only taking advantage of what you already feel about yourself. Do not give her the chance and speak up on the stage. And push yourself to get better. Update number 1. Hey guys, thank you for the encouragement and listening to my story. The things were changing really fast, and the people around me as well, and I could only rely on you guys for suggestions. During that punishment, passing my days without sugar was the most difficult ever. I was lethargic, irritated, and could not focus on anything. I tried to smuggle a candy bar somehow, but Dad, knowing my addiction to sugar, caught me and gave me half an hour lecture on it. My mood swings making me overwhelmed, I was in tears. To cheer me up, Father brought me a snack, which was green tea and an apple, and I was allowed sweet items only in the form of fruit and homemade shakes and smoothies. I was told to clear my finals this time. He would go to my physical education teacher this week for a parent-teacher meeting to allot me extra classes. The doorbell rang, and Uncle visited us for dinner in the evening with Mia, who had won her beauty pageant yesterday. I remembered she posted that on social media, and she had gotten a few thousand followers because of it. He informed me that Mia wants me to be at the party tonight, and I didn't want to. Dad told him that failing exams was the reason, and Uncle gave a contact number of a nutritionist to Father from his hospital and told me to follow that as it would help me get healthy enough to clear the exam while practicing for it. At the party, Mia stuffed a huge slice of cake in my mouth, and before I could chew it, she clicked a selfie picture without a warning. I was looking horrible with a mouthful of cake, and the rest was smeared on my chubby face. She posted it on social media, tagging thousands of people along with her. She told me to finish everything on my plate, which was loaded by her, saying that a few more calories would not cause me any harm. My phone starts to ring, and I saw that I was being heavily trolled on social media, so I asked her to delete it, but she did not reply. And the next morning, there were thousands memes on my face. Facing so many stares, giggling, and teasing, I was devastated. I skipped my recess and went straight back home to lock myself in. I blocked and installed social media everywhere. When I refused to come down for dinner, Dad knocked on the door telling me to come out for dinner. I didn't want to, but later I confessed to him about Mia, who had uploaded my picture without consent, and I was teased and bullied by everybody. I was in tears. He told me that if it really hurts me, then I should direct my anger towards something productive. He said that I'm getting late for an appointment with the nutritionalist and that I should get myself ready for this challenge to prove everybody wrong. Well, after his motivation, I worked hard and refused to cheat on my meals. I trained myself to run an extra mile every time. I pushed all the cravings I had, and honestly, it wasn't that difficult to cut sugar ever since I opted for healthier choices like honey, fruits, etc. I'm thankful for the motivation from you guys, my nutritionalist, Dad, and everybody else who stuck by me throughout this journey. But along with that, I've also witnessed a few people start treating me differently. I felt seen and heard among people, and their changed behavior towards me was evident. One of them was Mia, who was certainly not happy with my progress and tried her best to tease and seduce me by every means. As I was losing inches, her desperation to pull me down started increasing as well. Not only that, she tried to demotivate me as well, and she even started to spread the rumors that I've been trying to copy her because I was jealous of all her achievements. One of my so-called friends told me about Mia, who was a great intuition, and somewhere she knew I had a capacity to compete with her. That's why she always perceived me as a potential threat. Due to this, she tried to stay close to me, but not let it come out of my shell of obesity in the name of fake body positivity. Mia is one of those people who keeps her friends close and her enemies closer, and now she was fearing that her popularity might be, going under threat. But I was far from interested in her useless goals. I was concerned with my finals, which were about to commence, and was grateful that I've become healthier and stronger and gained a bit of confidence. And I've yet to lose a few more pounds just to get a score high enough to compensate for my failing grades. Guys, I'll update you soon enough, hoping to share good news with you because I want to pass my exams with flying colors. Update number 2. Thank you guys for listening to my story and for your encouragement. So I was stuck in a dilemma due to my father's unusual advice, so this was what I was talking about. After a few weeks, I had less than a month left to prepare for my exams, with my anxiety levels increasing with time, but Dad was happy with my progress. He was already sure that I would pass my exam. One morning, when I was running, I was drenched in sweat. I saw a bunch of girls getting excited over something, and I found Mia to be one of them. I saw the poster about the upcoming competition for beauty pageants in our district, and the winner will get to represent our local newspaper, magazine, and other modeling gigs for photo shoots and walks for fashion shows. I rolled my eyes looking at that when Mia noticed my reaction and said that it was easier to judge from outside than to do that thing. I justified saying that it was only because it did not sound interesting enough to me. Mia, using these words against me, said that I'm acting like a typical pick-me girl who tries to present herself cooler than others to gather male attention by portraying herself as different and unique through her tomboyish, sporty attitude. Before I could reply, all the girls started making fun of me. I was upset that day, and obviously Dad noticed when, he was back from the office, and I told him what happened. He asked me what I really wanted, should I keep ignoring her, or Should I take it as a challenge and shut her mouth forever? Well, I just accepted the challenge and lost an impressive amount of weight in a few months. I'm not an obese, shy girl as I was before, so what could a single pageant show bring if I took it as a challenge? I tried to reason that I do not like this. He told me it was my choice. This was an unusual suggestion from my father that did not sit right with me, but I soon realized the reason behind it at the dinner party. I did not have much time to think about it, but my exam day has arrived, and I slept hard, ate right, and trained for months. And I ran and completed the target within the limited time, in fact, way before it. I was in 17th heaven when I excelled in my finals, and when I saw Mia in the crowd, she was sulking silently. Dad threw a small dinner party, calling Aunt and Uncle Mia and grandparents. Mia gave me a backhanded compliment and gave me an advanced invitation for another contest that she applied for which she believed that she would definitely win. Aunt said to Father that maybe someday they will hope to attend such little celebrations for my success, just like Mia's. I saw that Dad was annoyed by Aunt's constant boasting of her daughter and her annoying doctor husband. That day, I understood Dad's jealousy towards them and his reason for pushing me forward in the same field as his sister's daughter. So, I withstood him and replied to my aunt that soon she would get the chance of participating in the party of my victory. But that day she would be confused because Mia would be losing it. Mia did not take it well, and I reminisced about those words when my so-called friend said that Mia looks at me as her potential threat. So how amazing that would have been to turn her fears into reality. I was scared that a reckless decision would make me a fool in front of everybody, but Dad was happy to coach me as well for the upcoming contest. Dad was proud, thinking that at least this would give us the opportunity to prove our worth in front of our grandparents and Mia's parents. So I braced myself for the contest, not knowing how I was going to make it. I got an appointment from the coach to get trained and get familiar with the task of the contest, which seemed quite easy, but somehow I managed to pull it off to some extent. It was like a crash course. I did not have high hopes and cursed myself for the terrible mistake I made by making my announcement of my participation. But then, remembering how mean Mia would have been with me till date, I was vengeful and tried hard to make her fears turn real and say that to her face. The competition finally ended, and the first round was simple. Later on, things turned different with each passing round, and somehow I managed to clear all of them due to the physical strength that I've developed and the guidance of my coaches. Finally, I've reached the finals, and I could not believe it when my name was announced, along with Mia. Her happiness faded instantly, and she was more upset about my success than happy for herself. My aunt tried to console her daughter, who was clearly annoyed by such news, and Dad looked so proud after so long. I was happy. Happier than the day I cleared my exam, and also being popular has its own struggles, because Mia could not display her disappointment, so she had to invite me to her birthday party, and this time I dressed in my best outfit. Remembering how she made fun of me, but now I'm relieved that nothing's permanent and terrible things were left behind. A surprise waited for the both of us at her party when my ex asked me out. That wasn't even part of the plan. Participating in the same contest is one thing, but dating their exes has become a whole new level of enmity. Things were escalating quickly, but I'm not going to get carried away, so I tried to brush that thing aside because I could not believe the guy would be genuinely interested in me if he had a past with my cousin. And that too, Mia. There could be a high possibility that they were together in this and planning to make this ugly before the final round. Or he might actually be very jealous of her and using me instead to get back at her. The latter seems to have a greater probability, but at least I enjoyed watching Mia be jealous and insecure. I could not wait to make things worse for her. So I concentrated on my finals, and my schedule was hectic because the hopes were higher this time and so was my stress. Her ex tried to reach out to me a few times, but I doubted him as well. And, well, so I asked why he didn't go back to Mia. He confessed that Mia is a very, very selfish person, who is unfair to anyone. Well, also, she was demanding in a relationship, so he could not keep up with her bratty attitude. So, somewhere I did agree with him, but it would still make time to fully trust him. He came to warn me that Mia was up to something and that she could do anything to make things work in her favor. I thought of just talking to him in person to know the complete story on the day of the rehearsal. Well, okay. But on the day of the final costume rehearsals, I found Mia and him together at an unhealthy distance. I felt like a complete and utter fool to think that he might not turn out like her, but, well, they were using me. And that's why I chose this crucial time, just a day before the competition, to mess up my head and emotions. Update number 3. Hey guys, finals have arrived, and so were the results of our karma. This is how things turned into an utter mess. I have some regrets, and karma always hits you, just like it hit me a bit, and Mia the hardest. As I blocked him completely, I focused on the contest. I could not sleep, but tried to focus on the moment that we had all been waiting for. Dad arrived from his office after his half-day, and Mia's mother also arrived. I was nervous at the backstage, but the sight of Dad in the audience calmed me a lot. The turn came, and I was 7th from the last after Mia. When my turn arrived, I stood at the entrance of the stage completely ready, but the sandal felt a little slippery. I ignored it, thinking that it might be the floor or that I stumbled because of anxiety, but things worsened as I entered the stage. I could barely walk a few steps. My feet slipped and my other heel broke completely. The worst part was the dress was, stuck under the heel, and the button was torn in the process, and I fell hard onto the stage. After that, my head was injured and ringing. My ankle hurt, and everybody came to cover my back and called an ambulance. I got plaster and a wound, and thankfully the injury wasn't so serious. But I have to admit, for a few days, Dad was regretting sending me there because of his jealousy, and I regretted that I did not trust my actual friend whom I thought of as my cousin's ex. I unblocked him, found his message by texting me sorry and explaining to me that Mia knew I was about to come over, so she tried to get close to him. I gave up on the contest, but I got the call that the last round of the contest was canceled. And counting the scores of the previous rounds, I scored best after Mia, and I think that Mia must have won the crown. But then they revealed that I was the winner of the competition because Mia was disqualified. Well, I was shocked. Well, later they informed us that they had found the remains of grease on the shoe sole of my shoe. And at the request of my father, they checked the CCTV, where they found that Mia was ruining my dress. Dad informed me that he was doubting Mia, and with the help of her ex, he had been able to find the evidence against her. My overly competitive sister became desperate and ends up spoiling her whole career just to kick me out of the competition. But guess who turns out to be a loser? Now, her unethical behavior has tarnished her image to a great extent because rumors spread fast. She was lucky that we have not filed a case against her with the intent of causing me a physical harm. This was the first time in history that Mia was hiding herself from people to avoid their attention. The one thing that she had craved for and the reason for being a part of the pageant in the first place. Her parents, who used to be so proud of her, were feeling ashamed. I felt bad for them, but karma had hit them back as well for raising their daughter so wrong. And now they had to bear the fruits of it, whereas Dad and I were finally happy to win the competition and prove ourselves. I gained the confidence that I could carry this forward, and I got my first gig, as was promised to the winner. And honestly, it was quite interesting. Well, I appreciate everybody's help in getting me through this rough patch. Thank you for all your encouraging words. They have motivated me to make positive changes in my life. So this story was talking about Mia and how nasty she was towards OP. I want to know from you guys, if you were in OP's exact position and you had to deal with Mia, what would you do? Do you go the same route that OP did? Guys, drop your comment downstairs. This is one that I want to discuss with you guys. My name's Mr. Reddito, and I narrate stories every single day. If you guys want to be a part of these videos, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel, and if you want to support the channel a little bit, drop a comment down below. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you tomorrow, and just remember, it's cool to be kind. See ya.